Hey y'all, I want to take a minute to kind of review what we went over in class today because I know there was a bit of confusion. So I want to take a little bit more slowly, and so I'm not leaving the view every few seconds to jump on in to let people in tardy. All right, so this is similar to your STEM Scopes activity. I don't want to give you all the answers to your STEM Scopes activity, but I want to set this up similar to how it's asking you to do in the chart, okay? So I'm going to keep it relatively simple and straightforward, but the chart in STEM Scopes kind of looks like this. There's section A, B, C, D, and E. I'm only going to do a couple just to kind of give you an idea of what it actually looks like. So we're going to go A, B, and C. And then underneath that, it asks for your average. And a little bit more information as we go. It'll ask for your average distance and things like that. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at just how to compute speed, just speed. So to compute speed, remember speed is equal to distance over time. So speed equals distance over time. All right, so what's my distance? Well, if I start riding my tricycle, because I have my three-wheeled tricycle, if I start moving my tricycle from my house to the stop sign, I've traveled or traversed 10 meters. So my distance is going to be 10 meters. And in my STEM Scope activity, I'm going to drop that in my chart. But for right now, I'm just going to have it up here. And let's say it took me 5 seconds. So my time is equal to 5 seconds. Now, how do I compute my speed? Well, I'm going to take my distance, 10 meters, and my time, I'm going to put my time underneath it. My time is 5 seconds, and I'm going to basically divide it. I'm going to give it a dividing sign. Now remember, when you look at that dividing sign in math, all it's saying to do is divide, right? This is not a fraction per se, it's a division problem. So the first thing I want to do is take my meters per second, and I'm going to shoot them off to the side here and go meters per second. Now I'm just going to simply divide. How many times does 5 go into 10? 2. So what's my speed? 2 meters per second. All of the math problems really are that straightforward. You're going to take your distance, you're going to put on top. You're going to take your time, you're going to put on the bottom, and then you're just going to simply divide. Now, is it always going to be a whole number? As we compute speed, you'll find that sometimes it's not. For instance, let's say we're rolling a marble. We're driving, or we've got our ramp, we're rolling a marble, and maybe that marble goes 30 centimeters in 50 seconds. Okay? Well, how many times does 50 go to 30? Wait a minute, I don't know how to do that. So you're going to actually take your 50 into 30. We're going to put our decimal point, 0. How many times does 50 go into 300? 6 times. So 0, 30. So what's my speed here? First, I'm going to take my centimeters per second, throw it off to the side, and there's my speed, 0.6 centimeters per second. It's that basic math problem. And if you're going to key it into a calculator, key in the numerator first, the one on top. So you would key in 30 divided 50 and come up with it that way. All right, but let's go ahead back to our chart. So let's look at our second distance. Between point A and B, it's 15 meters. So my distance here would be 15 meters. What's my time? Let's say it took me 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Now what's my speed? Well, again, I'm going to start with my distance on top, the 15 meters, and I'm going to divide that by my speed, 3 seconds. How many times does 3 go into 15? 5. 5 what? 5 meters per second. 5 meters per second. So I would write my speeds up here in my chart, 5 meters per second. My first one was 2 meters per second. Now let's do one more. So my second one is going to go from point B to point C, and it's 5 meters. So let's say I went my distance. Oh, let me get a different color for you. Let's say my distance was 5 meters. And I know that because I just, measured it. It's 5 meters right there. And let's say it only took 1 second. 1 second. So what's my speed? So my distance is 5 meters. My speed, it only took me 1 second to go that far. I'm going to take my meters per second. Meters per second. How many times does 1 go into 5? 5 times. So I have my 5 meters per second. That's my speed. Now, how do I compute my average? How do I compute my average speed? Is like this. I'm going to take my entire distance. So what's my distance? Well, I went 10 plus 15 plus 5. So 10 plus 15 is 25, plus another 5 is 30. So my distance, my total distance, is going to be 30 meters. How long did it take me? So it took me 5 seconds, plus 3 is 8 seconds, plus 1 is 9 seconds. 9 seconds. And basically it's the same thing. You put that into another problem. So you got to take 30 meters divided by 9 seconds. How many times does 9 go to 30? Well, let's find out. I know I'm going to have a decimal there because 9 goes into 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. So that's going to be 3. I'm going to pull down 0. And guess what? It's going to be 3. It's going to be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So what was my average speed? My average speed is 3.3 meters per second. The only other wrinkle that you have besides solving for your average is what is velocity. Velocity is just distance plus a direction. So you would say, for instance, I went the speed of 2 meters per second south, because I was heading south on my map. If I was heading this way, my second one, I was going 5 meters per second east. And then finally, on my third one, I was going 5 meters per second north. You with me? All right. And remember also, it doesn't have to be a cardinal direction. It doesn't have to be northwest, east, south. It could be, I went 6 meters per second to the left. Or maybe I'm free falling out of my plane and I'm going 9.8 meters per second down. All right? So keep that in mind, velocity and speed. Velocity sounds like a big complicated science word. It's not. It's just saying that speed in a given direction. All right? So with that, hopefully it clears it up a little bit. I am going to do a screencast with our STEM scope activity. So I'll post that later on today. And with that, thanks for joining me, and I hope this helped. Bye.